What is up, you guys? We are back for day 18 of Vlogmas. I'm Connor O'Reilly, joined once again by Nate Perkins and James Conrad.
Yeah.
And we're switching it up today, you guys. We're not going to be on the disc golf course for once. We're going to be in the climbing gym. It's a great cross training for disc golf. And Nate, tell them a couple reasons why.
Yeah, well, we started climbing last off season here in Austin, and we got addicted really quick. It's a very just incredible activity. Like, it's super engaging and really fun, but also it gives you like a functional strength. Mainly in the forearms, I feel it the most. The forearms were actually my limiting factor to how long I could climb. And the stronger your forearms are, the more grip strength that you're gonna have, translating directly to disc golf. And so this past year of climbing, I've noticed a big difference in the strength of my forearms, and also like the what's the word I'm looking for?
The endurance?
The endurance. And so I'm just not getting tired at all out on the disc golf course. I will give you guys a little bit of a disclaimer. At the very beginning of our climbing journey, if I went to go climb, my forearms would get really sore, and I would be in the early release program on the disc golf course. And so try and find that balance between wearing yourself out and still being able to play if you have a tournament coming up.
Yeah, it's just a good mental test. It kind of helps you get in tune with your body and learn to trust yourself a little more and test yourself in a way you're not used to. And if I'm a first-time climber, I've never been to the gym, what can I kind of expect maybe to pay, or what do I need if I want to be on the wall, James?
Yeah, it's super beginner friendly. Like, you might not be too good the first time you go, but most climbing gyms have a day pass for about 20 bucks, maybe another $5 to rent shoes. And I think that's a great way to try it out. Just come get a day pass, and yeah, you'll feel the burn quick. Like Nate was saying, you might have a hard time throwing discs that day or the next day, but I think all of us have gotten super hooked. I know myself, like, I've never been one to like want to sit down and actually go like pump some iron, but I'm just addicted to the climbing gym. It's a great way to get that workout in, and to just like, my body just feels so good after, and I feel like I've gotten a lot stronger. And Nate was also mentioning, it's also about like body awareness. So like sometimes you'll be on the wall and just like slip off, but then you realize that if you just kind of rotate and get like a better angle on the hold, that all of a sudden it feels great. And those kind of like micro changes can be huge in the disc golf game. So just being more aware of how your body works and like where the strength comes from is great, like body awareness. And I think that goes just as far as like raw strength. So it's awesome, and yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, super well said by James.
Yeah.
James has gotten really good, super smooth on the wall. Nate is getting really good, really fast, just super strong and quick, and sends it on the wall. I'm getting there,
He's
getting a
trying to
little
catch
better.
up.
I'm trying to get there, but we'll get there in time. And
Our boy Kevin Jones is a monster on the wall too. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Kevin's full.
Yeah.
You know what, to the wall, and yeah, he really kills it on the wall. But all right, now we're gonna show you guys some clips from us in the gym, and we can't really play the audio from in there because they have a music track going. So we'll put our own kind of background music, and here and there I'll voice over, kind of give you guys some information on what's going on. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy something a little bit different for a change.
I usually like to warm up on some easier routes, and Megan suggested this little red to me right here. Super tight little finger grips with a lot of trust in the feet on these type of routes. When you're in the gym and you haven't been before, there's different colors or different variability of easiness, and Nate's going for kind of a mid-level one with the orange right here. One of the great things about climbing is you can kind of choose to go with the easier routes and just like get the physical exercise out of it, and less of the kind of mental battle and adrenaline that comes with the harder routes, while still enjoying yourself. Or you can really push yourself and try to push your body and your wits to the limit, which it's fun to kind of do that sometimes as well. James trying out this black here. James is super smooth on the wall, as you probably would have guessed, and just really technically sound. He doesn't really muscle his way up the wall. He's strong, but he just is like graceful and thought out the way he climbs. He uses like all the levers of the body and all the ways to lean properly. I definitely have him help me a lot because he's similar size as well. If I'm having trouble, I'll just ask him how he did something or how he would do it. As you can see here, I'm kind of struggling on this purple one, and Megan's pointing and trying to tell me what to do it better. I'm having trouble with this transition. So like I said, I asked James for the beta, they call it, and he's going to show me how he would climb this one so I can learn how to get past this top hold there that I was struggling with. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've kind of struggled with one, just trying to will my way up it, not really thinking through it. And then like once I ask James to come show me and I see it done once, it makes it a lot easier. As you can see, I kind of kicking that right foot on the wall there to try to pop up on that left leg and get whatever kind of leverage I can possibly muster out of any part of my body. That's one thing climbing kind of shows you, is like every part of your body matters when you're moving. And I think that kind of relates to disc golf, where every little part of the swing, every part of your body matters for being efficient. And kind of the way it translates to the wall is the more you can use each limb to apply some pressure, the more you can kind of make it easier on yourself. And the more we can simplify our disc golf stroke, the more we can make it easier to score better and to be less mentally stressed out on the course. Here we got Nate hitting this nice, physically demanding purple. Nate's not quite as technically sound as James or as smooth on the wall, but he's super just quick and strong and just wills his way up the wall. And he's been getting a lot better as well, so he's starting to get some of that technicality too. Definitely starting to open up the routes he can achieve now. Nate's definitely right there though with the way he just scraps his way up the wall. And once he figures out to trust those feet. The black color right now, which is one of the harder, I think it's the third from the top hardest ones that they'll typically mark in the climbing gyms, is usually what Nate and James are kind of trying to conquer and have a mix of kind of failure and success on that level. I'm not quite there. I'm kind of starting to scrape at some of the moves of the black ones, but usually in these gyms, the purple and orange ones, the kind of V2, V3s are good for me. And so you can see that little flash marker that we put on there. It means that you climb the route successfully on the first time you ever attempted it. And so right there, I got that purple, which is one of the better routes I had gotten up to that point in the session. And now I'm going for one of the hardest routes I've ever done, if not the hardest. Super tiny little feet holds and some kind of small hand holds too that you really got to trust. And then some of the routes, they usually have tape showing where you start. And then if you see tape towards the top, that's where you end as well. Or if there's no tape, usually you kind of just top out all the way to the top of the wall. A lot of times if it is taped on the top spot, it makes it harder than just topping out sometimes, because then you have to like be balanced and get both your hands on that tape spot versus just reaching to the top. And right there, James shows you how to nice and easily do that orange right there. And I'm gonna try right after him. And I kind of did do it a little more unorthodox of a way. Sometimes when you're tall the way I am and James are, you can kind of skip some steps, and right here I just kind of jump all the way up to this handhold and don't even deal with those blocks to the right that James kind of made it a little easier by doing. But honestly, that's one of the fun things about climbing, is that as long as you get to the top, it doesn't really matter how you do it. It doesn't matter if you hold with your back on the wall at some point, or it doesn't really matter as long as you get to the top. Just like with disc golf, doesn't matter how you score. It matters what you score. Here we got Nate going for this tough black that him and James were working on a little bit. And this is the part where it's kind of tough. You really got to trust the feet on a couple moves right there. Definitely outside of my pay grade at the moment on the climbing wall, but in time it won't be. I never really tried climbing until last off season. My girlfriend Megan got me into it, and after the first time I tried it, I could really see how much I could enjoy it and how much I wanted to do it some more. So it's been fun to see my own progression within climbing over the last year. So thanks to Megan for getting me into it and showing me a new way to push my body. I always love being active, and finding fun ways and challenging ways to do it is always extra rewarding. Because as much as you have discipline and can get in the weight room, eventually it kind of gets a little mundane and boring, and it's good to mix it up. So I feel like climbing can be really good in that sense. Here we got James, the billy goat, up on the wall. Kind of getting to that point that Nate was struggling at. Let's see if he can push past it and get to that next handhold. Yeah, and sometimes when you're out there, depending on the gym you're in, the routes can be kind of easier or harder than you're used to based off of that scaling grading. Or sometimes like the walls can be kind of more crowded with routes to where other routes are getting in your way. So depending on where you are, they'll be easier or harder. But they're all different and fun challenges, which is nice, especially when you travel as much as we do. We always try to find gyms in the bigger cities. And here's one orange that Megan showed me and told me I gotta go do. You can just see the kind of final move right there. It's one that she did, the first one she had done of the day, so she freaking killed it. Let's watch this. I always love seeing Megan push herself on the wall and push her comfort zone, because you got to do it on some of the harder routes like this. You really have to have a couple moments where it's like, all right, I could fall 10 feet up, facing slightly sideways, but you just got to have that trust. And here's Megan hitting that orange for the, I think, second or third time of the day, but she did flash it on her initial attempt. So we got to give her that credit. Good climb, babe. Here we have James trying this one that the start was kind of a struggle. Once you get your left foot up, it becomes a lot easier, but just getting the left foot up, especially for bigger guys, is really hard. I had a lot of trouble trying this one. I was not able to get it, but I feel like if I can get that first foot up where James got it, then I definitely got the rest of it. So next time we hit the gym, I'm working on this one. Yeah, you like to call that your project. If you got a route that you're working on that you haven't quite got, but you're kind of figuring out step by step, that you're going to go back to. And as in anything in life, it's always fun to see the progress and getting on the gym. Shows you that based off of which color routes you're able to achieve. So simple, easy ways to get those rewards and see how you're learning. Here's James back up past that first move on this one. He didn't quite get it the last time, but usually when he's determined on a route and trying multiple times, he ends up getting it. Just standing on that tiny little spot, trust in the feet. Those are the moments where you really gotta stay calm and have that self-belief, because doubt on the wall will definitely scrape you up sometimes. Yeah, this is definitely not a tall person friendly start. That's another thing you'll notice, kind of some of the routes, depending on who's set them and their height, can kind of vary the difficulty, whether you're taller or shorter. Sometimes it's advantageous to be shorter for certain moves or certain starts, and sometimes it's better to be tall, where you can kind of, as long as you can get past certain parts, you can kind of skip steps if you're taller. But all just depends on the route and the move. Either way, you got to be really strong in your core and have good forearm and upper body strength, as well as knowledge of how to use your legs on the wall to be a good climber. Here's James giving us just one final orange before he was done climbing, that I don't think he had gotten yet, but he had tried a couple times. The super overhanging ones are tough because they put a lot of pressure on your hands, and sometimes you can overdo it and kind of scrape your skin up a little bit by not gripping properly. So you got to have that proper movement.
All right, there, now you guys have seen a little bit of climbing action on the wall. And James, explain a little bit about the different colors of holds out there for the people.
Yeah, each gym will do it a little bit differently, but a lot of the gyms will have like a monochromatic like difficulty kind of a thing. So in this gym, some of the easier routes are going to be like the yellow, red, and green holds. And one particular problem will only usually use one color of hold. A lot of the ones that were challenging us in there are some of the purple, orange, black, maybe even blue. And there's also a V scale, so I'd say a lot of the stuff we were working on would probably fall somewhere in the V3 to V4 kind of range. Maybe V2 on some of the slightly easier ones, and that can vary gym by gym, but it's just a good benchmark. You know, you can kind of see your progression. Like when you're starting out, you might be struggling on some V1s and V2s, but if you keep after it for a couple of months, you might be getting up and being able to knock out some V3s or even V4s. So it's a good benchmark. It's kind of like par and disc golf. You know, the more you do it, the easier it is to get closer to that par or get under par. So good challenge, good way to judge your own progress.
Yeah, and just like disc golf, it's something, you know, you can do as much or as little as you want. You can go choose just the easiest routes and just do it for a little bit of exercise. You don't have to test your kind of adrenaline rush as much, and just do the simpler stuff. And you can go once a day, you can go twice a day if you get hooked, you can go twice a week, once a week, like 10 times a week, it doesn't really matter. But talk a little bit about all the stuff you can do, not just climbing at the gym.
Yeah, I mean, well, first I wanted to say that climbing is a really pure activity, just like disc golf. Like in disc golf, it's you and the course, it's you against the course, and in the gym, it's just you and the wall. And you get these little rewards, and you get fulfilled from climbing. Like you don't even have to finish a route. You could just like advance one move that you didn't think you were gonna get, and all of a sudden you get this kind of rush of joy. Just like disc golf, like you think you're gonna bogey, and then you throw in from like 100 feet, and you get that like rush of joy, and that's like what keeps us coming back to the rock climbing gym. And to answer your question about the gym, I mean, this one has a weight training gym, it has showers, it has a sauna. I personally love to go and sweat in the sauna after climbing and working out, and then showering, and then I'm just like ready to conquer the day and give some more disc golf lessons back at the ranch.
Yeah, a lot of them have other facilities, like you said, and maybe offer yoga classes as well. But there you guys have it. We showed you guys a little bit of something different that we like to do with our spare time. Another great cross-training tool for disc golf. If weight training is a little bit boring for you, then climbing is really something that might speak to you. Like James said, you know, getting in the gym is never something he's loved to do, but I've definitely noticed him gain some strength on the wall over the last year or so. It definitely pays off to have some cross training in your disc golf regimen, and highly recommend climbing. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thanks for checking out the Vlogmas Day 18. Great work, Connor.
Yeah, thanks for joining you guys.
Yeah, let's go, James.
We'll see y'all back on
filming, Megan. We're gonna get Megan in there.
Big
Thank you
shout
so
out to
much
Megan.
for Megan.
We'll see you back on the course tomorrow.